Hi, Kylie here, and welcome to my Plan With Me drawing for August 2022. So we're in August. Oh my God. This year is just rapidly running by. August last year was buildings. I decided not to do that this year because, quite frankly, I do not have the focus or the energy to do that. So we're doing something different instead. We're just basically doing some of the watercolour line playing that I've been doing for myself. This is one of the ways that I practice my line work and playing with watercolours and doing those sorts of things. And I really enjoy it. It's like nice and free and easy, and this is how we play. So I'm going to put a bit of this into a couple of the layouts. And it's very free form. So my bullet journal was a lot quicker for me to do this month because I haven't had to sketch it all out. The quote's the only thing that's really been sketched out in this whole process. And as you can see, I'm doing it on watercolour paper outside of the bullet journal. That's only because I wanted it to get that really nice blend. And while the Archer and Olive journals are fantastic and I love them and I can do watercolour in them, the paper absorbs the paint really quickly and doesn't sort of let you do that blending and mixing as well as watercolour paper will. So I'll cut it out and stick it in. I'll do that afterwards so that the thickness of it doesn't make me sort of draw over a weird line and get a bump and I get annoyed. You'll also notice that I have a new colour palette. Well, you may not notice, but I have a new colour palette. I've bought another art philosophy one. This is Odyssey. I love their watercolours. There's just such a richness of colour, and this is really bright. It's a bit different to the other two that I have, but it's really fun to use. So it's August. And July was a month, which is why I'm doing this on the 5th of August. I've had, like I said, quite a bit going on. July was jam-packed. I had some work come up that I wasn't really expecting, and then just some other bits and pieces happening, and also dealing with all the emotional stuff around planning for, training for, and getting ready to do a circus performance, which was supposed to be on the weekend. And then it having to be postponed because people had COVID, and that sort of just knocked me around a bit, emotionally and psychologically. I was ready for it to be done, and now I have to keep myself, keep my routine fluid, keep my spin tolerance up, and keep my strength up so that I can do it at the end of September. So that's a little bit disappointing. It is what it is. And I'm glad we postponed rather than going ahead without the couple of performers, because they put so much energy into doing their routines that I'm glad that they're going to get to do them. But it doesn't sort of help my brain. And my brain's copped a bit of a beating with a few things that are going on. So my mental health isn't at its greatest at this point in time, which is why I'm being kind to myself and, just basically treating my bullet journal the way it should be treated, as this is just a space where I'm experimenting and playing, and I don't have to make it anything formal and structured. So I took this quote from Maya Angelou. I felt it was probably a timely thing to include given how my brain's functioning now. You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody. And that's great. And I think I sort of need to remember that more often than not, and particularly at the moment. The problem is that I'm trying to be kind to myself, but I'm really happy with the bulk of this quote. But that bit of nothing to prove to, which I'm now just making really bold and ugly in the center, I'm really unhappy with it. I'm unhappy with it because I didn't take the time to space it properly. Like, I drew it a couple of times and just went, it'll be good enough. I didn't space it properly. I haven't taken the time to actually really letter it properly, and it's just annoying me. It's on an angle and it irritates me. But anyway, it's not like it's going to be in my bullet journal for the one that I'll be using for the next 4 months or something. So that'll be fun. Look, I am being generally kind to myself about it, but I did it this morning, so it's annoying me right now. I'll get over it the way that I get over all of these things. So this is the process. This is the main way that I've been playing with a lot of this stuff. And I've been doing it with watercolours as well as doing it with markers. And it's effectively just this, we go through and create some shapes. This one I thought I'd just do the circles along the top because it's sort of, it's a nice landscape section to do that. So, we do them across the top, and then where the colours change or where you get a thickness of colour, like that little spot there, you basically just trace around it and you create shapes. So, where there's any variation, that's where you can naturally just create a bit of distinction and delineation between things. You create shapes and then you fill them with texture of some kind, or, you don't, or, you don't fill everything necessarily, but it's just a really relaxing way to create because you do it with no expectation. It's not like it's supposed to look like anything, and it's just a free-form play. And most of the time, it seems to work out for me. I've got a couple that have gone horribly wrong and look really bad. But on the whole, I've actually been able to create some really nice pieces with this. And it's something that I've been playing with for, not that long now. I've probably been playing with it for a few weeks in this way. And yeah, I've just been able to create some nice things with it. So I wanted to sort of really show it to you as, so yes, it's a nice simple way for me to do my bullet journaling, but it's a really nice way if you don't feel comfortable that you can draw and you want to do something a little bit creative. It's a really interesting way because all you're doing is basically putting down either blotches of paint, or you can use markers and everything else, as long as you go over the lines or go over the shapes to create areas of depth of colour, then all you're doing is tracing and filling it with pattern. So it's a lot easier than you might feel if you have to draw something specific. I've done one again, like just on the corner of this page, to show you, like, it doesn't have to be sort of the mix of colour. You can just do it in one colour, and it actually works quite effectively in one colour. You just paint some lines in, or again, like I said, with alcohol markers, draw some shapes and cross them over. And you can see all those little dark patches there. So any space where it's creating a separate shape, as I said, you just outline it. And you outline it, you pick which bits you want to fill in with lines or dots or hatching or whatever it is you want to fill things in with. And then you fill them in, and the rest of it you leave open. And you can fill in the white space just like you fill in the colour if you want to, take out some of the white space that's in there and create some different texture as well. It's just a really interesting way to just practice drawing, practice your line work, practice those things without the pressure of, I'm trying to draw, I'm trying to draw buildings, or I'm trying to draw people, or I'm trying to draw trees. It's just patterns, and it makes it nice and easy. So, yeah. So I hope you're all having a good August. I know we're only a couple of days into it. I hope that you had a nice July. And that you're all enjoying whatever season you happen to be in the world, and either staying cool or staying warm as you need to be. We are in August. We are rapidly heading towards the end of the year. And I'm not entirely sure when September is actually going to be done. So I have quite a busy last week of August, first 2 weeks of September. So I'll probably try and do that one a little bit early so that I can release it on time. Otherwise, I won't have a bullet journal until mid-September, and that's really not going to work for me very well at all. So yeah, we'll see what we do and how I make that work. But yeah, hopefully, you aren't having any little mental health hiccups like I am at the moment, and life is going quite well for you. And I hope that whatever you're doing in your own creative processes, you're having fun. So this is my bullet journal set up for August 2022. I hope that you have a great rest of the month, and I'll see you again in September. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.